Hey everyone, welcome to World of Travel, the podcast. This is the companion to our global docu-series where we don't just show destinations, we dig into the culture, the people, and the stories that give us those places and their soul.
Yep, right here on the podcast, we go even deeper talking to travelers, creatives, and change makers who are really shaping how we see the world. Now, today's guest is someone you've definitely seen lighting up Instagram and TikTok. She's a fun but honest and transparent mom, wife, entrepreneur, lifestyle content creator. Shantice Tyler Whitley, my friend, welcome to the show.
I'm so excited to be here.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Now, I want to start with, because Shantice said, I thought y'all were just going to invite me over to y'all living room with some cameras. And she was like, wait, it's a set?
It's a full situation.
It's a whole situation.
But it's beautiful. I'm so truly proud of you just to see you in your element. Very inspiring. I feel like a proud mother, and you ain't even my child.
First of all, I'm older than Shantice. Let's be clear.
Oh, God, this is true.
Second of all, Shantice and I went to college together. We went to Temple University. And so the episode that's airing right before this, the docuseries episode, is about Philadelphia. And we kind of highlighted the experience there, from the Philly cheesesteaks. We really argued about where's the best place to get it, to some of the history, the culture, the music, and the people of all races that are there that make it like this cool melting pot. Right. So I want to start there and like talk about what Philly kind of meant for you, because you came to school around what time? Tell people about your story about how you got to Philly.
Wow, I actually got to Philly because of the culture. I actually started my freshman year at a predominantly white institution. And I came to visit one of my girlfriends at Temple on Leacourse Walk, and I saw nothing but Black people. And
but we're not at HBCU.
We're not.
You think you
and
are.
No, people need to definitely clock in on that, because we're definitely not. But a lot of people think that we do. But I think we have a nice handful of Black people where we can pretty much, see ourselves. We feel the love. The culture is definitely there. Because honestly, during my time at Temple, I never felt like I didn't see enough of us. I felt rooted in us, if that makes any sense. So yeah, when I got to Leacourse Walk, I saw all these Black people. I see the Greeks and all these, just a lot happening. I was one of maybe 5 in my graduating class at my freshman college. So I called my mom up while I was visiting my friend, and I said, you got to get me out of that school, and I need to leave ASAP. And so I wound up applying, got in, and then transferred, came to Philly. And when I tell you, being in Philly was actually some of the best years of my life. Sometimes I think about like, I don't want to go back and redo it, but I would love to do it again.
Yeah, like live there.
Yeah, but live there during the college years. Now, living there outside of the college years, I'm not too sure I want to do that. But during those years, I don't know, it's something about Philly that I'll never forget it. Like, I feel like I can smell it, feel it. I don't know. It has a feeling about it.
Give me a story. What's something that happened at Temple?
Oh my gosh. My life as being an Alpha Kappa Alpha woman, that was a really great experience for me. I didn't grow up with Greeks in my family. Honestly, I never knew anything about it until I probably watched like School Days. So that experience for me was definitely rooted in a lot of culture, Black excellence, even not even just in the sorority, but meeting distinguished gentlemen. You know what I mean? Seeing Black men really thrive and wanting to, pursue their dreams, and they just had these goals and ambitions. It was a lot about it that I truly enjoyed. I'm a social butterfly, so of course I love to get my stroll on. Okay, so that was always great too. College for me, while academics is definitely always the root of it all while you're there, my social experience was top tier and one I will truly never forget.
Yeah. I wanted to take you to Philly. So we did this. It was one of the last episodes of season 2 going to Philadelphia. And I was just like, when we were picking places, first of all, we needed to go somewhere close to D.C. because we were in the middle of moving here. But also I was like, dang, I love Philly so much. I just can't wait to see Kolyn and Kynsley's reaction to the city that I love.
Yeah.
So I kind of want to hear from you, like what you felt, because you kind of had that experience where you visited your friend and you were like, oh, something hit you about the school and the city. So how did you feel when you went there?
About Philly or about Temple?
About both. You did do both.
Okay, I thought Philly was everything I thought about. I thought it was like a lot of history. I didn't know it was one of the first cities in the United States. I thought the people were really nice, and I thought the cheesesteak was chef's kiss. Yeah, it was top tier. And then when I got to Temple, I was like, yo, this place is historical. Yeah. You look at the buildings. I saw a lot of young kids, Black kids, a lot of culture, a lot of art. What's that square you were talking about? The walk?
Leacourse Walk.
Yeah.
Is that where we were?
Yes, in that center. They changed it a little bit from when we were there. Yeah,
okay.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. In that square they were selling Michael Jordan pictures, a bunch of different art. People were hanging out. People were playing music. And I just felt the vibes. So I could
it's
just imagine. Yeah, it's a vibe.
It is a vibe. And that's the instant vibe that I got when I came, just by visiting. I never toured Temple. I never toured Philly. I never, checked into any programs. I just knew that this is where I wanted to be because the vibe is there. Like I said, academics is always, the reason why we're there, sure. But I do feel like a social experience is, should be of importance, just as important as the academic part.
I think the social experience is maybe more important than the academic part.
Yeah.
Right? Because you use these relationships throughout the rest of your life. Yeah. Look what's happening now.
For sure.
We're we're on set, we're chopping it up, but you guys created this relationship at Temple.
Yes.
I think it's very important. A lot of kids talk about not going to school and getting directly into the work, working and getting into the market. Yeah. But for you to miss those relationships, those lifelong relationships that you're going to create in college, and then going through and learning how to live on a minimal income, I think it's a great development that you can have in life that kind of teaches you how to, interact in social groups and how to move forward and just, be nice to people and learn how to make people be nice to you. So I think it's an important thing for the social
it's so funny
interaction.
Because I knew that when I went to college, I wasn't going to be what I went to college for. I knew.
What did you study again?
I was a fine arts major.
Okay, I think I remember that, yes.
I was a fine arts major, but I knew that I didn't want a 9-to-5. I knew I didn't want to work for anybody. I knew that from the gate. When I was in high school, I told my parents that, I just had this dream of owning my own salon and doing hair. And actually, after I graduated, I actually went to beauty school right after. But so for me, the social part was very important for me because I did what I had to do, of course, to graduate for sure. But I just knew this is once I leave here, I will not do what I came here.
I wanted to point out that Shantice also did my hair at Temple University. So just understand if you ever saw me with good hair.
That explains so much. I was going through your IG, and you're always doing your hair.
Yeah.
So you love doing hair.
I had a passion for hair at one point in my life. It's no longer there. Yeah. I kind of grew out of that and kind of ventured off into other things that, kind of made me more happy. But I think the environment that I was in when I was doing hair didn't necessarily fulfill me. I definitely worked in a white salon because I went to a white beauty school. And so when I worked in the white salon, I felt like it lacked creativity for me. To me, I grew up in a black hair salon. So there's, conversations, there's, style, it's therapy. It's just all of the things. To me, it's a magical place. It's a creative place. And naturally, I'm a natural born creative. So it lacked that for me. And I kind of fell out of the love and I kind of ventured off into something else. And I never really looked back. Even today, sometimes I wonder, like, well, goodness, now that social media is booming and all of these things, like, damn, can I say damn?
It's okay.
I'm like, I wonder what my life would have been like if I was a hairstylist. Granted, I am truly blessed for how my life actually turned out, and I do feel that God truly does have a plan and, a direction for you. And this obviously is the path that I'm supposed to be taking. So.
Absolutely. And you can still do your own hair. You can do your daughter's hair.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I definitely do my daughter's hair. I do my mom's hair from time to time. I still cut.
Yeah. Wait, you paid?
Not that, but you know what? I actually wanted to be a barber. At first, I definitely wanted to be a barber. No, but I can, do basic cutting and things like that, a bob, layers, things like that. So, yeah.
Okay, I was about to say, I'm about to come give me a chop.
No.
She just said she ain't doing it professionally. So I remember, there's moments that I remember at Temple of people that I met. Like I remember freshman year, we have a friend named Bethlehem who was a Delta, and when I met her at orientation, I was like, oh, wow, this feels special, whatever like that. I remember when I first met you, you probably came a few months before that, and I was like, oh, wow, this person feels special. And because, first of all, you and I hit it off almost immediately, like just playing around and having a lot of fun, but also because I really was in awe of some of your creativity at that time. Now, mind you, looking back, we might hate our outfits. I don't know how you feel. I surely hate that little thing I had on top of my head, that turtleneck, and the blazer that I wore to the club. But out of all of us, I felt like you did it the most stylishly, which is acceptable in today's climate. Because I look back at pictures like, yo, what work event was I headed to with three-piece suit on at the club?
No, seriously. We all were wearing I wasn't wearing the three-piece suit, but many of us were wearing the three-piece suit for sure. I do remember that era, though.
So I felt like you had this energy that was akin to mine. And so I was just happy to see you in this field, but not surprised. And I want you to tell the audience kind of a little bit about what you do now. Like paint the full picture, because it makes perfect sense to me as somebody who was super creative then, and to me fine art almost still feels like a parallel, because when I see you go to Fashion Week, it's very artsy. Like I've been to Fashion Week multiple times. Somebody get me a whole outfit and a hairstyle, and that's my look.
Right.
Like I'll buy the whole mannequin if I need to. That's fine.
Right.
And you just went there, and I'm like, wow, that's a whole different take on something that's an opportunity presented to you in the same way it's presented to me, but you handle it totally differently.
And the crazy part is that it wasn't a seamless New York Fashion Week for me. I didn't know what I was going to wear until literally less than 24 hours before going. So, you know, like yourself, yes, I had got to pull the suit from Sergio Hudson, but the outfit wasn't complete. I didn't come to New York prepared for Purple Rain, is what I called her.
Because it's a look.
It was a look.
We're not talking about just something you pull and just wear however.
No, it was definitely a look. And I said to myself, you know what, I didn't pack for Purple Rain. So I said, you know what, I'm about to scurry through New York and we're going to complete this look. But I mean, like I said, I'm a visionary. You know, just naturally, I can see the vision. And it's so funny because when I was at Sergio Hudson's showroom, the lady said, nobody has tried this on today. Like, I just don't know what it is, but nobody seems to want to pick it up, or nobody wants to take it. I said, run me Purple Rain. We're going to work with her. I'm going to take her out. We're going to jazz her up. We're going to figure it out. I had my hairstylist come up here, the makeup artist in New York. I said, we got to stamp this. I saw the vision in my mind, and that's when I was just like, this is my look. This is my look.
How did the opportunity come? Like, how'd you...
So I went to New York Fashion Week with Mael.
Okay.
Which, by the way, great brand that I actually love. They do a lot for the community. I'm really big on working with brands that pour into our space, and they do a lot of that. So...
Yeah, I love Sergio. Sergio, he's cool.
Yes.
And he's a fly guy.
Yeah, fly guy.
Yep, and he just started. We ran into him not recently, and I was telling him that I love his men's clothing. I'm really glad that he's getting into the men's clothing, because he's a big boy too, and he knows how to dress big boys. And I think you know, this stuff is cool. So that's really dope that you got to do the runway. That's fine.
And that was my first time going to New York Fashion Week in that capacity. So I've been before, but just not like that. So
it's a different experience.
It's definitely a different experience, and an experience that I'm actually looking forward to doing again and again and again and again. Like I really did felt it. It gave me an opportunity to express myself creatively, do things that I wouldn't necessarily do on the normal. You know, and I love taking risks. I love taking risks with my hair. I love taking risks with makeup. You know, clothes. I'm very confident person. So, you know, I definitely feel like I could probably wear a toilet paper dress and walk out this door and probably feel like, you know what?
I'm about to kill it.
I'm about to just go ahead and we just want to do it. You know what I mean? So I love opportunities to where I can do that, because my actual, I don't call it a job because it is my business and it's something that I love to do in my day to day. I don't get those opportunities to actually dress up and, you know, get in glam and things like that. So when I do attend events, that's my opportunity to, you know, get creative.
Well, people probably look at you. So you have 2 kids, a husband, and people see you mostly, and they see you inside the house too, but they see you mostly when it's like a situation or something happening. So people just assume like your life is always a situation, like you don't have regular Tuesdays, right? Like I'm assuming that at home. So can you break it down? Like what is the life of somebody who literally affords their entire lifestyle by influencing people and experiencing some of these things? What's life look like?
I think you showed that.
I do show a little bit of that.
Yeah.
Now, I do, a lot of people don't think I work. A lot of people think that I am a stay-at-home, and I'm not. I do own a body hair removal business.
I saw you waxing your own arms.
Yes.
You made me go get waxed yesterday, but not myself. I'm definitely never doing that to myself.
No, and I wouldn't recommend that, actually. So you can come and see me, girl.
Okay.
And lay on my bed. So, yes, I have a body hair removal business that I've had for the last 10 years now, which has been very successful in the DMV area. I feel like I've probably touched everybody, because I actually do sugaring, which is a natural form of body hair removal.
Like the jelly kind of, right? It's not like
it's like it's made out of sugar, lemon juice, and water. My kids call it a slime.
Yes.
So it looks like
slime,
that. So I don't have to use papers to, you know, take it off. It's one ball all the way through to get the hair off, and that's it. So, and I do feel like when I started, it wasn't many people who were actually doing it. So I felt like, you know, the curiosity of the area, the community, everybody want to know. And I will say that a lot of my clients have been with me from the start, almost over 10 years ago. So, it's doing great. I've definitely scaled back from it a lot to kind of, you know, fall into the content creating space, because I love creating content. Yes. And now that the business has gone in the direction that, you know, I've dreamed of it to be, I can't necessarily be at my salon space as much as I once was, because now, there's a lot of events, it's a lot of moving around. The kids are getting opportunities and things like that. So I needed the time. So now I'm at the salon maybe like 3 times out of the week, but I have to cram in 10 years worth of clients in a little bit of time. But it's okay. They understand it and they respect it. But that is my typical day when I am there. I'm there for maybe about 6 hours, maybe 8. It depends.
Maybe 9.
Maybe 10. Now I draw the line at 8 hours. Listen, I'm not cut out for the 9-to-5 lifestyle. But no, but that is my day to day. I am doing Brazilians, underarms, legs, just everything. And I truly love that space. A lot of people always ask me, will you ever let this go? No.
Oh, you always going to do it? Okay.
I will always do it. And you know why? Because of the people, the clients. I built so many solid relationships. And the reason why I don't show that part of my life a lot online is because it's really sacred to me. A lot of women pour into me in that space. I pour into those women. We cry together. We laugh together. We share so many different, hardships, success stories, triumph, grief. A lot goes down in that space. And I feel like it's something that I just want to kind of leave for us. I'll invite the audience, the social media community into it sometimes, but it's just not something that I would prefer to pop a camera up and have on my clients all day, because that's their time with me.
Yeah, you feel like it's a responsibility.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And it's something I feel like I don't think I would walk away from. Like, I truly, genuinely love what I do. I don't even think I have a client where I can, how some people are like, oh God, Shanika coming in. I don't have that at all. Like, I genuinely have a relationship with each of these women, and I value it so much, and I don't take it for granted. I love it so much.
I love that.
Well, I think that there's something too also like keeping like a base. Like for me, I've always liked to like produce or like be behind the scenes. Like that's something that I just always love. Like I was the dweeb bringing a full camera when they had them video cameras that you stick your hand in to Miami to like document my spring break for no reason. Everybody's like, yo,
where were you at back in the day with that camera? I have no footage from college, like nothing.
I feel like I would just be like, if people be like, can you put it down? You look like a dweeb like in the middle of this beach trip.
I would have loved it.
And so I literally like that part, and I think like part of it is like the being on camera part. For me, I've just watched too many people, specifically women, get the rug pulled when it's like, oh, we don't want your thoughts anymore. Oh, we don't want. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to always make sure my hands are in the rest of these pots and I understand other things that I like to do so that nobody tells me when it's done. Like, I'm not going to be able to stop writing. I'm not going to be able to stop sharing ideas, tell stories. So that's kind of your version of that too. It's like, yo, you get to share ideas. You probably get inspired. People probably tell you about different things that make you like, oh, wow, I should lean into this or try this next time or look at this store or look into this brand. I'm sure in this conversation.
It's a lot of conversing going on in there. And you know what? I don't know. Every day when I walk in there, whatever issue, whatever, anything that I'm going through, whether that be tired or stressed or whatever the case may be, when I walk through those doors, that comes off of me, and I just step into this role of an empty cup, so that way I can be able to receive what's coming my way. You know what I'm saying? And be able to pour back into somebody else. It's not an easy job. And you have to be mentally prepared when you're working in the service space with women, especially us Black women, okay? And especially us mothers, because we go through a lot. I've seen a lot in that space. And because I've experienced traumas getting to motherhood, a lot of that is brought to the forefront of me in the space that I'm in. So it's really visible. While if you don't know, I had a child in 2016, and I lost my baby, and I thought that I was the only person in the world that it happened to. So now that I'm here in this, in this space working with so many women, it comes at me a lot. So I see it a lot. I see it all. I see moms come in pregnant and they may come back, there's no baby. So, you know what I'm saying? So I see it a lot. So it's kind of like, and although I've dealt with that type of trauma, like I said, I have to be completely ready to walk through those doors, to be able to receive what somebody gives to me, for them to be able to vent to me and not, necessarily break down. Sure, we cry together, but I still want to be able to be that person that can give them that inspiration, that empowerment, that courage to know that, this isn't the end. You know what I mean? There is light at the end of the tunnel. So.
Oh man, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And I would have never known that because you're not wearing that.
Yeah.
How do you move forward in life and not, just keep going and not wear that situation that happened to you? How are you going day to day,
My children.
Yeah.
My children, I feel like, have given me peace with the situation. And you know what's so interesting? And I tell myself, like, when I think about it sometimes, I'm like, girl, you are just so strong. Because even in that moment, I don't remember ever saying, why me? You know what I'm saying? Y'all gonna make me cry. I don't ever remember saying, why me? And although, my experience was extremely traumatic. It was traumatic from the moment I found out, to the moment of delivering a child unborn, you know what I mean? To the moment of sitting in a room with a child unborn. It was a very traumatic experience. But when I saw my children, when I, had my babies, that was the peace that I needed. Because I don't think I would have been happy if I didn't have children after that.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
John, can you get us a tissue? Get some tissue.
Ooh. That's something that, it's hard to even fathom that situation. And then to be somebody like yourself who just, you seem so jovial. I think people get that confused sometimes. Yeah. Because I am that same way, right? Yeah. I'm so happy and they're like, I can't believe you went to this. Yeah, I didn't try to wear it. Yeah. Especially not on social media. I didn't really, you did share your story a little more than most people. Yeah. Well, what made you want to open up? Because you thought you were the only woman that had experienced that?
I felt like when it happened to me, I think I may have known one girl. I was working in a retail store right after college, and I think I want to say, yes, I do believe it happened to her. She never vocally said it, but I think it happened to her. So she may have been the only person that I know that it happened to. But when it happened to me, I didn't know. I didn't even know that could exist. You just think that, okay, you have sex, you get pregnant, you have a baby, you go home. Right. Like, you know what I mean? You think that happens
you hear about all these complications
it's never going to be, you never think it's going to be you.
Yeah, and you don't think it's going to be you. I mean, I went 40 weeks. So, you think you're at the end of you're at the finish line. I'm here now for a checkup today saying, okay, well, we're going to induce you because, we're about to be rolling over, only for the Doppler to run over me to not hear a heartbeat. So yeah, and even in that particular moment, and the trauma didn't even just stop there. I had a doctor who lacked empathy.
I can't imagine in that moment somebody not having the proper. That's so delicate.
How can you not have empathy in that moment?
And I think for some people, their jobs become just that. You know what I mean? It's so routine. It's something you see all the time. Because the response I got was, well, these types of things happen all the time. And in that moment, I said, you know what? She cannot deliver this baby. Yeah, she cannot. We got to flip her.
You asked for a different doctor?
Yes, I did.
Wow.
I asked for a different doctor, and they definitely granted me that. I will say that in that moment, they treated me like a Kim Kardashian at that hospital, for sure. And gave me everything that I wanted and all of the requests and things like that. So, I can't say it turned out to be a joyous experience, but I am glad that spirit of that person wasn't over me when it was time to deliver the baby, because even during the birth, it was kind of traumatic. It even got to a point where, the baby wasn't descending. And it's given like, we've done all that we could. If we don't cut you open, you're going to lose your life too. So it fell into that, you know what I mean? So it's just like, oh Lord, like the trauma just kept on adding up. So, after, the situation, it was a very cold year for me, but friends and family and my clients really came together and, really lifted me up. And then I said to myself, you know what? I've never seen this on social media, and I know that there are women out here who probably have experienced what I've experienced and never have said anything about it and are still grieving 10, 20, 30 years later. Or there are women who, are going through the motions in the moment, you know what I mean? And so I said, you know what, I want to be the friend, the sister to somebody who can, say, I can relate. Because in that moment, I didn't want to hear from nobody who hadn't experienced it. You know what I'm saying? Because you're going to tell me what you think will make me feel better. And I felt like for me, what healed me was hearing from people who it happened to. So when I did share my story, there were so many people that reached out and said, well, this happened to me. My grandma even said that it happened to her. And I had never even knew, you know what I'm saying? So when I kept hearing like, okay, I'm not alone. And, people sharing to me that there was light at the end of the tunnel, that really did help heal me. But the ultimate healing did not come until I had my baby.
Yeah. Do you tell your children now about their sibling?
Yes, they know. Okay. Oh, yes, we have a picture. We just moved, so we're not.
And congratulations!
Thank you. They're the photo. We had a photo collage or whatever, and so even to this day, my son asks about it, or he even said the other day, December 4th is Caleb's birthday, and I was like, yeah. So he's very, very much so aware of what happened. We've talked about it. fairly early on, maybe around like 3 when he can kind of like understand. So he's about to be 7 now, so he's fully aware.
I never told you this. My mom had a miscarriage a year before I was born. Yeah, she couldn't have a child, and so my sister was adopted, and she was happy to have a child, and then like literally to the day a year I was born later, she had a miscarriage. I had a brother. And I was born a year later. After. Yeah, so a lot of people do go through it.
Yeah, it don't say nothing.
Yeah, and don't say anything. I didn't find out till a lot.
I knew that your mom thought she couldn't have kids, which is then she decided to adopt Candace, and then she got surprised pregnant.
Okay.
With Kolyn.
Right.
I'm the miracle.
And then had another kid after that.
Oh, wow.
So your mom probably can relate.
Oh,
stop saying that. But it happened to my great grandmother told me that.
But as an adult, or did she tell you when you were a kid?
She told me that like randomly, as I think I wrote an article about Black maternal health, and my grandmother told me it happened to me.
Why are people hiding this?
Well, I think back in the day, it's like you just got to be strong. Nobody had time for. They told them like we don't got time for crying, and honestly, dire times were more dire than even they are sometimes now.
Yeah.
And so people were like, okay, well, we have to figure out. Yeah. People had a lot of kids also when they were younger. Yeah. I mean, back in the day, and so I feel like they just were pregnant fairly quickly again. Yeah. So I think there's a lot of things.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine the pain and just getting through that situation. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's a lot. But you know what? I always say to myself that I feel like God put me in a position, and like I said, when I come across these women, I feel like I'm the first to know. People, even on social media, if they does happen to, they feel safe to slide in my DMs to tell me about the situation. Nobody ever asks me though. Did everybody ever say, "Well, are you prepared to hear this?" Nobody says that, but they just tell me. But you know what? And I say to myself, like, I feel like my strength just allows me to, like I said, put how I feel to the side for a second and just receive what they're saying, and just empower that person in that moment. So I feel like that's a part of my purpose of being here. So
yeah, I was telling Lindsey, so I've dealt with loss in my life. My brother was killed when I was in the 4th grade, and I was telling Lindsey, just because I wear well or I'm moving through life doesn't mean I don't wake up thinking about my brother. Every time I have a moment in life or success or good things happen or my daughter, I always think about, man, my brother could be here. He could be here in these moments. So just because you're strong, you have to allow the space for the healing.
For sure.
And I know you're going through those same emotions. I said, just because I can handle it doesn't mean I'm not going through the same emotions you go through. Yeah. And so just allow space to heal, allow space for those emotions to come out. Yeah. And if you ever need to talk to Lindsey and myself, like I'm here to listen.
Yes, I received that. I received that because it's not easy, and that was 2016. You know what I mean? It's so long ago, and you still feel it. Yeah, you do. I don't think it'll something that'll ever go away. No. But I always tell myself, I always ask myself, would I have known my son and my daughter if I didn't go through that? Because I always was like, one and done. Yeah, one and done. You know what I mean? But my two, they're a blessing, and I feel like they do provide me that level of peace that I needed, because I wouldn't have been happy.
Yeah. So tell me about your 2 kids. You got a boy and a girl. That's the perfect setup.
Right?
Yes, God is good. I always thought I was going to be a boy mom. I always thought that, but nope, I got a boy and a girl. My son is getting ready to be 7, and my daughter, she just turned 4 this summer. 2 little ones with big personalities, very busy. All of the things.
And your husband is, I find it's funny because before Kolyn and I actually started doing production together, he would always be like kind of annoyed about the videos I was trying to do for social media. So your husband seems like a good sport. Kolyn would be like, yo, no. Or I'll be like, my whole time is ruined. We could be in the middle of France having the best time, but if he took 10 trash photos of me, I'm hot. Yeah. So this whole entire nice, beautiful scene that we're seeing, it doesn't matter because there's not one good picture. So
you happen to like him when we.
Yeah, and then I like all of them at the end. So how does he deal with having a content creator wife?
And we're 2 completely different personalities. So working together is truly something. And I wouldn't necessarily say that I'm a perfectionist, but I do feel like if I asked you to take this picture and you're supposed to be the photographer, I do expect 1 or 2 photos out of the 50 that we took in this beautiful scene. So, no, I think that he receives the information, and like I tell him all the time, my criticism doesn't come from a negative place. It's to make you better. You know what I mean? Because yes, I love you, and I believe in what it is that you're doing. You know what I mean? I know that if you continue to elevate yourself in what you're doing, and just listen to some of the direction, we'll be dynamic.
Yeah.
You guys are doing it, obviously working together. And your kids are now getting offers for their own brand deals. So is the goal, and also I'll ask two things, is the goal to be like a family unit that's doing this thing? Are you concerned about involving the whole family in these type of things? And I say that, and I ask respectfully from somebody who's doing that with Kolyn and Kynsley and Michaela when she's able to come with us.
So I do have boundaries on my children, and I respect their space. I ask them if they're interested. I don't force them to do it. Luckily enough for me, my platform does well with me being the main character. So the children aren't a main. They're just, they're a wonderful addition to the platform. There are a lot of, motherhood content creators or lifestyle content creators who have to rely on their children. I don't have to rely on mine. So I give them the option. Do you want to be a part of this? If they say yeah, great. If they don't, cool. Or there have been, my son had a brand deal one time. And I think because that particular deal wasn't so organic, it was a little bit more, came with a script, you know what I mean? So meaning that you have to be a little actor. That was a lot for him in that moment. And then he said, Mom, I don't want to do this. And he actually vocalized that. And I said, you know what, son, that's fine. I called the brand and I said, we're going to have to rework. Whatever I got with him in it, either we can work with that and then I can kind of, work things around the fact that he's not in here, but it still implies to a child, we'll have to do that or I'll just have to back out because he doesn't want to do it. And I don't believe in forcing my children in doing anything that they don't want to do, especially when it comes to this space, because this is my dream. You know what I mean? And I've opened up the door of my dream to you. If you want to be a part of that, wonderful. If you don't, I respect that as well too. So I never want to force them to do anything they don't want to do.
Well, two things. So there was a story, Will Smith, I don't know if you saw this. You saw this?
I saw him
Willow,
speak about something with Willow. Yeah.
So Willow, he was on tour with Willow, and it's millions of dollars. The money flowing. She's on her.
It was
song,
Rock Nation.
Rock my hair back and forth, or whip my hair back and forth.
Yep.
And she was like, Dad, I don't want to do this anymore. And he was like, Well, Willow, we in the middle of the tour. You got to finish this, da da da. And he told her that she cut all her hair off her head and she couldn't whip her hair back and forth anymore. How do you feel, as the brand deals get bigger and opportunities come about, it's a lot of money and signatures are on the paper.
For sure.
How do you handle those type of situations?
Well, and that's definitely a situation that they pulled back out of the contract, didn't they?
I don't know what happened. I know she cut her hair off.
She cut her off tour. Yeah, they must have
so they got somebody else. Okay, yeah. I mean, it just goes back into respecting your child's space. I think my fear for me was my child getting older and then hating me for something that I wanted to do, and I'm not willing to risk that. You know what I mean? So I would prefer to respect what it is that you're saying to me, that what it is that you don't want to do in this particular moment, because what I don't need you to do is be 37 years old on a podcast saying my mama, okay? I don't want that at all. I don't want that. I do not want that.
My best friend tells me, your kids are going to go to therapy and name something that you did. But just don't be the entire list of reasons that they're at therapy, please.
And I don't want them to suffer because of something that I enjoy. If you don't enjoy, I respect that wholeheartedly. Luckily enough for my children, though, my son loves it. So, like I said, I think that one particular moment, he was actually younger with that brand. You know what I'm saying? So in that moment, he said he didn't want to do it. But now, oh my gosh, the boy wants to do the whole YouTube thing. I'm not sure if I'm ready for him to go on YouTube or anything like that. But when opportunities come, he's very involved in it. If Yara gets something that he did not, he's like, oh, Mom, well, what about me? How come I can't do this one? And it's just like, I have to teach him, like, at this particular moment, this is Yara's moment, and what we're going to do is we're going to cheer her on. We're going to be there for her. We're going to support her and uplift her in this moment that she does well. And then when the next one comes around, it'll be for you. You know what I mean? You have to learn how to cheer for somebody else while you take, the back seat. So lots of lessons involved. I am grateful and happy that they do like to participate. But again, if tomorrow he says, well, you know what, Mom, this is not something I want to do, I am totally fine with that.
Yeah.
Emma Green talked about that. She's the architect behind a lot of the Kardashian brands. Major businesswoman, millionaire. She has a husband who also is rightfully really business astute, and she had him on her podcast, and like people were like, how does this work? We both have kids, we both have a lot going on, both really big in business, and he was just like, what I understand is that when it's your time to shine, I got to sit down and I got to celebrate that shining, and vice versa. Yeah. When I'm having a moment in business and you have to sit back, you've done that. You supported me, brought all the kids, been there to celebrate. Yeah. And I think that is a dynamic that you have to have in a relationship, no matter if you guys work together or separately. Like, I'm the first one screaming and cheering for an opportunity, even if it means I'm catching the L all month while Kolyn goes to take that opportunity. And he certainly is. I mean, when I was auditioning for The View, he was flying back and forth with Kynsley. Kynsley was 6 months old, sitting in the hotel room, helping me study, sparring with me, bringing up different. So that's when you have partnership. These are some things that I think about as people talk about this more. I'm sure you and your husband have these conversations of when you're having huge moments, that means he's at home with the kids or in the hotel with the kids during Fashion Week so that you can shine. Yes. That's probably the same thing happening.
Oh, it's definitely that. And it takes a village to, be in this type of space. I mean, I can't necessarily see myself doing all that I do and what I do without the village. My mom is very much so involved. My dad is very much so involved. My stepdad, the kids' godparents, if need be. But for the most part, there is definitely a solid village, because at one point in time, Matthias would go every, where I would go, he would be there. So we would have the village, on deck. Or a lot of times I like my kids to be there and my mom would just come.
Yes, that's a hack.
Yes,
bring the mom.
Bring the mom. Bring the mom, because it's so funny, because anytime that I have to do something, or whether it be like a trip, maybe like a sponsored trip or something like that, I always say that I have a nanny, and my nanny is my mama. Okay, right. So and I don't trust everybody, with my kids. So
you can't put it back in there. You cannot put the what do they call when you spill? You can't put the toothpaste back in the canister. Once the toothpaste is out, if somebody does something,
correct.
I'm coming for you though.
Correct. Yeah. And you're totally right. So funny, because somebody just the other day was like, well, my child knows how to tell me if something, if something like that were to happen. I'm trying to avoid
the killing. Yeah,
I'm trying to avoid that, because the damage has already been done. Yeah. So, it's definitely given. My mama or somebody in the village will definitely be there. I love bringing the kids along with me. I love for them to see me doing. I love telling my kids what I'm doing, where I'm going. I love to say it to the T. Now, growing up, you ask your mama, where you going? Girl, mind your business. It's giving mind your business. Yeah. Me, it's like, oh, mom's going to go to this overnight stay with Amika. Mom's doing Fashion Week with Mayel. Mom is going on. I told my kids, I said, Mom's going to be on TV. And then so they were like, yes. So they're really excited. And I love sharing that with them, because I do want, when they get older, they know that mom really lived out her visions, that she lived out her dreams. She actually did the things that she said that she wanted to do. So.
Yeah. And do you feel, how do you feel about like setting up them for success like that? Like teaching them how to go through life, how to live fully, how to go for things, and then teaching them how to use their own face or their own personality as, a platform. How do you feel about teaching them that?
You know what? I like to always say that I want to be, the role model to them. Mm-hmm. So I do feel like children are very observant, and I think a lot of how they will be is from the upbringing and what they see. I do teach my children about, just being leaders in life. For me, most importantly, I just want you to be a kind person, a good person who makes the right decisions. And, so long as I do those things in front of them, I do trust God that He will lead them to do the exact same. I really truly want the best for them. I have a vision for them too, and I know my vision just might not be theirs. I do pray over it all the time. I talk to them, and I talk to them like humans that they are. I don't shut them out. I know, my upbringing wasn't an upbringing where I could have expressed myself. My mom didn't do a lot of, talking to me in that way. But I talk to my kids. And I let them know, what greatness is. I talk to them about college versus, owning your own business. And even at this young age, so that they know. We were even just having a conversation about what fraternity you want to be in. You know what I mean? So I really am trying to steer and guide them in the right direction, and exposing them to just greatness of life. You know what I mean? Just even with traveling and stuff like that, seeing my kids love a hotel. Like, I think
it's like a party in itself.
Oh, my child is having a birthday in 2 weeks, and he wants to be in a hotel. So, you know what I'm saying?
That's you know that from your niece and from Michaela. They love a hotel. But we're going to have to talk to you, again. We said that you live in the DMV area. We filmed the show in the DMV. Yes. We're getting the rap signal to wrap. Yeah, but I want to make sure that you come back.
Yes.
I will say that you and I were really tight in college, and we let time pass, and other things, motherhood, a bunch of stuff. But I hope that, for other people that are watching this happen between us, that they get inspired to reconnect with those people that you were tight with. It's not too much time passed, because there's times when I thought, I guess we don't really know each other anymore. Yeah. But as soon as we did see each other a couple of weeks ago, which sparked this, nothing changed.
No, not at all. It actually still feels very familiar, still feels the same. You're definitely still the same Granger, for sure. Same smile, same laugh. So, and when you called me about it, I was definitely honored to be here. And like I said, this is my very first podcast, and it is. And I've been wanting to do one, but it had to be the right space.
Well, thank you for choosing us for your first one.
Oh, thank you. Yes.
Shantice, Tyler Whitley, thank you so much for coming here. Hopefully, you guys. I know you guys are probably inspired by our story, but also just thank you for being like a positive light in this world, especially for what you're doing out there with the millions of people that are watching it. We need to see more of that.
Yeah.
So where
can people find you?
People can definitely find me at Tyler _Whitley. TYLER_WHITLEY.
Check her out on all the social
and
media
TikTok.
channels.
Yes.
Okay. Well, we'll see you next time. Thank you guys for watching another episode of World of Travel. Okay, and we will see you guys for the next go round.